All right, nice. Do you remember?
You remember?
Do you remember me, Charles?
What's up, Eric? Nice to see you. Yeah.
Good to see you.
Oh my gosh, another day, another palace cleansing purification crucible. Sort of, you know how metal we get, and we need it to get pounded out, like in Link to the Past.
It's an awesome thing when everybody shows up and everybody's cleansed.
Everyone's cleansed. Yeah, it's really nice. Thor's hammer.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us. This is Charles Carroll.
How you doing? How you doing, everyone?
I'm here with Charles Carroll. This is nice.
Yeah,
It's
really
nice,
good times.
Nice to meet up, and I'm sure there's nothing but good, fun things to talk about.
There are nothing but good, fun things to talk about. You know, the news that we're being bombarded with lately, Eric. It's our job to purify it before everyone else gobbles it up from everyone else, but they already do it anyway. So you get the purified version from us. But these are a lot of the stuff I've been wading through for 10 years. So it's just a kind of a gas for me.
This is going to be a little bit of a challenge for you, Charlie, because this is stuff you probably taled about 10 years ago.
Yeah, for the last 10 years. Now, look, I've never been a crusader for justice and all these things.
Right.
Just because I'm, just for a number of different reasons. My priorities lie elsewhere.
But do you find it surprising that the things that you talked about 10 years ago are now the highlights and the main topics of what's going on right now?
Yeah. I don't obsess about prophecies and about where things are going. I mean, I have some amount of knowledge and a good amount of intuition, but I really didn't. You never assume that these things are going to be released into the mainstream.
Yeah, you didn't think this would be mainstream.
No, only until really recently, once you see all of the if you want to call them legacy media, people from Fox or CNN, and they're carrying the torch for all of these conspiracies that we've been talking about for the last 10 years, and now that they've switched over and all this stuff, another legacy media operation still continues with all this stuff. So what the fuck are you supposed to do with it?
Well, you're supposed to talk about the fact that there's a lot going on with Epstein right now. Have you ever heard of him?
Well, now, Jeffrey. You all know Jeff.
That's what I'm talking about.
You never ended up meeting him.
Nope. Never came in contact with the guy.
But I was fortunate enough to meet him on a bunch of occasions.
Didn't you say it was like a Caribbean thing? Or
Yeah.
It was some island or...
Yeah, it's an island
I wanted to
thing.
get you to go on a cruise with me, and you said I have other plans.
I got real tired of the island stuff after all those years. I prefer the ski cabin, especially more now. But it got played out after all these years. But I did get to enjoy Stephen Hawking and people like that.
That's right. Those are the best ones.
And Jeff gave me his little black book.
Oh, a little bit of like a partying gift.
Yeah, we were partying as he was parting. Yeah. He gave me his little black book, which aren't the numbers or addresses of people, but he gave me a book of certain things. Let me just put it that way, in which you have the means to control somebody. Let me especially someone who's been through the program.
So he gave you a guideline book.
Mm.
And this is how you would control what?
This is how I repay him.
Yeah. So, let's cut it right at the idea that, all right, so Epstein has been around. This has been a name I've heard about for a decade. And for some weird reason, this is the mainstream news now. Mm-hmm. So we get in here. Why is it the mainstream news? I guess it's, there's not an easy answer for that, but let's just say some things I've heard. Trump doesn't want to bomb Iran. All of a sudden,
other reasons.
Let's drop like a shitload of emails and information
just
based
a
around
distraction from other things.
So you got a distraction. What are we being distracted from?
Well, in my opinion, the main distractions are, they're usually either they're going for the children, but I guess everything is always going for the children. But the main worry that is mainstream now by this time is just being ethnic. Everyone being ethnically cleansed from their own homeland, and you can say whatever you want about the Hugh Hefners and the Aleister Crowleys of their type in this age. You can say what you want about them, but the ethnic cleansing is a higher priority than than their temple prostitution and all
So
that.
you think
And
that's where
you are referring to our country as well as other countries.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I guess I will speak for ourselves.
for the Americanos?
Yeah, whatever they're jeering, you see, everything that's a conspiracy at one point, it becomes a fact, and it becomes, this is okay, it is happening, but now this is good. So you get people saying like, yeah, we're bringing in the great replacement, we're actually doing it, or this is going to be a whatever minority by this time, and that right there is your trajectory as a people is on a it's on a wood chipper death sentence.
Yep.
That is still, as we speak right now, steered right
into the chipper.
right into a wood chipper, and it doesn't matter what sort of playboy sex trafficking happens, and you know there's of course there's lots of abuse, there's lots of bad stuff.
Well, let's say this: they're not going to distract you with something that isn't horrendous and
sensational.
Yeah, something monumental.
Sensational sherry.
Right? But it's not as big as the problem that you're talking about.
Yeah, it's still a distraction.
So isn't that the way to play a lot of things?
Well,
Wouldn't you do that? If you were going to do something crazy,
Mm-hmm.
why not just like spit out something that's going to be in your face? Media will take, it'll like catch fire. Mm-hmm. It'll hide you from the big thing. Give them something, but you don't have to give them everything.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm sure
it's a combination. Straw man, this and that. There's a combination of strategies into what you just said.
Yep. So, and I'm sure it's been tweaked over the years, and it's pretty effective.
It sure is.
So Epstein comes out here, and now there's a lot of emails dropped on it. So they're probably targeting Trump.
Well,
Why would they do this? Why do they hold back on the Trump thing?
remember that?
Why do they hold back on the Trump thing for, let's say, 2 years? They're like this. They're not releasing the ones about Trump, though.
Yeah.
It's not Trump. He's not in it. How come they're releasing everything but Trump?
Mm-hmm.
So then now if I know. But I'm saying if the stuff that was just released is about Trump, why would they do that now?
Why didn't they drop this stuff when Biden was in office?
Why wouldn't they?
Or anybody?
Wouldn't that? It's not like they didn't know that Trump wasn't going to be running for president.
This whole time they were waiting to use it on Trump? That sounds familiar.
Maybe they were just being distracted because Trump was getting dragged into court for God knows what other reasons. But that was their ploy then. Who knows what the big distraction was for at that time?
Yeah.
And then round we go.
I always knew that they would wait until Trump to spring this stuff because it's convenient politically to bring it up with Trump, and also just because Trump was such a populist in whatever,
The
younger
race.
guys and whatever you want to describe it as in Americans, disclosing all of this stuff at this time is like, you know, psychological warfare on everybody at that time. Let me
Heavy
put it that way.
strategic.
So it's associated with Trump. It's associated with the Trump times, even if there's no Trump evidence in the release. It's still happening on his watch, which was, I always knew they would do.
Yeah, right. I mean, in other words, there's dirt. This is like the whole point of Epstein. There's dirt on everybody, right? His name should be Jeff Dirt.
Joe's
Dirt.
brother.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't. By this time, it doesn't matter to me what. Well, go ahead.
No, it's just, I guess the idea is that they always have dirt on anybody that's going to be making monumental choices. Yep. Either way, in other words, there's a humongous circle of, we'll call them elites. I don't even care.
Elites.
Yeah.
You would call them Elites, as in worshippers of El.
Hey, there you go. So let's say that group. They're all in bed with each other. God knows everybody is. But there's dirt on everybody. And then everybody's always put in the same power position. And then eventually there's going to be dirt on them just to feed some goddamn narrative, and it goes haywire. Surely, just like you and me, this is the main topic of conversation right now across the world. But we both know that it's not really that big of a deal to you and I, considering what the distraction. It's the distraction for something way more important.
There's a more immediate distraction. There really is, and I get the obsession with it, and I get the waiting, and I get the opportune moments to spring these things, but it's just what the I first operate by noticing and recognizing that these atrocities being revealed in public are first and foremost because you know that there's no justice in this world. There's the criminal justice system, which is justice for criminals, as you've lived through.
Yeah.
You see it. But you know that there's no justice. You know that, okay, well, look, I'm not trying to speak in that language. I mean, you're used to no one ever going to jail. Let me put it that way. And so you expect the same thing to happen. And I put forth that many years ago that if this stuff were put out in public, then it would be sort of the end of the world, and that governments would collapse. And I mean, that's
way more of a drastic end result to doing something like this.
Yeah, but perhaps it was true 10 years ago. 10 years ago wasn't that long ago, but still, it was long enough ago. Maybe it would have gotten people in the streets, or maybe it was just an underestimation of the level of control of the occupiers of this realm.
Yep.
Which is natural. I mean, who the hell? I try not to think that far ahead.
Well, is there a point to doing so?
What is the point? The point is like, hey, these people are gonna do like what the. So there's guys with bow ties on there talking about stuff that, and I mean, if you want to do apples to apples, I might have gotten $5 for talking about back in the day, mainly because I'm a moron. But the guy's got a bow tie and he's carrying these things, and look, there's no mandate for me. I'm not the keeper of the flame of conspiracies. But it doesn't make sense to me where things that were completely forbidden to talk about in public are now fair game for the same people that were running the show back in the forbidden days. Like, it's so shocking to me to live through this, and I cannot believe that there's many figures out there. I cannot believe that they have an audience and that people... I'm so shocked, even to this day.
Do you think it's just like an escalation of the way news is reported, meaning that it was completely out of style?
Could be just...
10 years ago is a long time, like you said. Is it just a style that's changed? In other words...
It's my style, sir.
Yeah, but this was your style 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Meaning that, like, if everybody wants to make money, they'd be looking at analytics. And if back 10 years ago, nobody wanted to hear about Epstein and all the horrific things that come along with it, if it wasn't the style to deliver that type of news.
That's why my feeling was if they did it 10 years ago, people would have been out in the streets.
Right, because it's too shocking.
Yeah.
It's
I really kind of feel that way.
It's really disturbing still. And that's why I really don't want to get into like the really raunchy shit that comes along with Epstein, because it's terrible.
They have to release everything slowly, and then they numb you to not caring, and then eventually no one even cares when they report the worst stuff ever.
Your care is cremated.
Yeah. Speaking of cremation, whatever happened to Epstein? He's dead?
I don't know if I die. I assume no. I don't assume. My assumption is that wealthy, powerful elites do not visit jail or are put under house arrest. I simply don't believe it. I've seen enough movies at the very least.
It's impossible. It's impossible if elites are all 400 of the top elites.
Yeah.
If all of them are throwing each other under the bus, threatening to put them in jail, and then like 3 days later eating steak dinners and smoking cigars together, obviously no one's going to jail.
No.
That's impossible. And Trump was never going to go to jail for any of those things.
When it comes to the, I guess you could assume when it comes to the network of nations and the internal structure of a government and the external and how it deals with other nations, you can just assume that it operates in the same way as does a cult. I'm sure there's a better word for it. I guess you could say mystery religion, or rather a secret society. Maybe is a better blanket term, or a cult or secret society, mystery religion, whatever you want to call it, whatever works better for you. But a system in which you cannot enter it unless you have blackmail on you, unless you have a bond with your fellows that cannot be broken without you being destroyed.
Right.
You know, that's par for the course when you're entering a secret society or a cult that operates covertly. That's the way it operates.
Clearly, that would be the most safe way to keep people in.
that's how you keep people in, by force. That's just the way it operates. What are you gonna let someone in that's just gonna infiltrate you and destroy you from the inside and do all your secrets and all? It just doesn't work like that. And now, since we've learned that these cults and these secret societies, you could say Skull and Bones, you could say the freaking Rosicrucians, you could say the Jesuits, you could say whatever. The Templars is a good one, but you could say that all these people are initiated into these cults. So you can assume the governments and the relationships that they've formed with every other structure in the world follows a similar suit. It follows a similar organization. I didn't mean to say it in so many words.
Right.
But I can only assume it's the same organization.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, it is a one nation built into whatever secret society you're talking about. And everybody would be, in other words, we've said it forever, but is there different countries in reality? Or is there real boundaries to any of this shit? I mean, anybody, you could say anything and you could be called crazy. I understand.
Oh, yeah, but these days, considering all the Epstein stuff, anything that I've, not sitting on, but I don't like to make people sick.
Yeah.
Like, dude, unless you want to talk about the application of real atrocity, which of course I wouldn't talk about.
No, I don't like that shit.
Yeah, not that. But I'm saying, and everything else, there's nothing I could say that would freak people out or be called crazy about now, considering all the revelation that's happening this day. That is definitely. I mean, it could happen with new laws. Laws can make things that you say crazy in the future. Like, let's say anti-Semitism
laws change all
law.
the time.
Yeah, like you could get thrown in jail by criticizing whatever the hell nation that's like 80 years old. Or no, will it even reach 80 years? What's the cap for a Jewish nation?
I don't know.
There's
There's going to be some type of.
No, it's 80 years. I think none of their united, whatever the hell you call that. They've never reached 80 years of getting along with each other.
Really?
They've always warred.
It probably, if you could blanket, even just the shit that I pulled from you, is you can still blanket it as the only war is religious. And
yes,
I mean, we're not going to get too deep into the idea that the secret society is based on a religion or a belief, but I mean, we might as well say it is. Sure.
It is.
And exactly what I'm saying. So, like, all in all, don't call them countries, don't call them boundaries. We would probably...
Don't call me a taxi.
Don't call me that. But all in all, we'd probably just say that the only real war out there is probably a religious one. We've said it forever.
To this day, it still stands. From what I see, the only war that I've seen are on the children of God, the atrocity that is executed on them in this world. And from what I've seen, that has been Christians.
Yeah.
And
I still don't know how Christians have lasted this long. They seem to be earmarked, marked for death.
Yeah, when I think of Christianity, and I think of my fears or my shakings of faith, I don't know. I don't even want to go into it anymore. But it has endured for a reason. It has endured. And it is the biggest victim of all atrocities that I've seen. The Russians got it real hard, and I know the Germans got it, and we're getting it right now. And all this, you can say the UK, you can say Islam, and this and that. You can say whatever. Go to someone else.
I like saying this because it still brings back the idea that they're. This is still what's the great replacement type thing. It's bringing us back to this still because primarily whites are Christians.
There are many Christians that are not white. I'm not going to say, but just like you said, primarily they have been white. Right. And you're right to bring that up.
And again, so it's still, there's an X over us always. And we're
gonna watch your ass.
We're marked for death.
Gonna watch your.
And I don't know how we've lasted this long. I've said that before, but I still don't get it because it seems like we're the ultimate enemy. And it's like a unanimous thing. But
it does seem that way, doesn't it, Eric?
So if that's an ethnic cleansing, like you're saying, that's still what something like Epstein is the distraction for, is my point. I'm trying to bring it back full circle for that.
Yes.
And everything we just mentioned
about
is...
60% of Catholics in the U.S. are white.
Well, the Catholic Church has been facilitating.
We'll say Christians.
Demographic replacement within their own.
It was 90% in the 90s.
Yeah, I like that. I like 90 to what, Nick?
To about 56. It says 54 to 59%.
Now you see, 90 to 54, 50 whatever.
29 years.
Now, in 29 years, in less than a generation or a generation, now that would usually set off the alarm bells of an incredible genocide, ethnic replacement Holocaust to me.
Imagine.
But in this case, it doesn't, because in this case, the victims they're white Christians mainly.
And I think it's in our religion to get our ass kicked and to be like this.
Turn the other cheek.
Love your enemy.
Yeah, you got to love your neighbor. You see, you love your enemy. You see, the thing about loving your enemy, Eric, you want to talk about... You want to talk about my mother?
Talk about love?
Yeah. You want to talk about that? Love is violence to the wicked. So if you really love your enemy, okay? Well, I don't want to be misconstrued. Is what I'm saying is...
I know what I have a feeling.
Yeah, I'm saying to cause your brother to sin no more isn't the worst sin itself.
I know what you were getting at. In other words, if you love your enemy, then give them the gift of death.
Give them the gift of leaving this world before they actually are 100% going to hell. Now, of course, that's a superhero. Also, someone who would kill a good person before they're corrupted. Like, that's an interesting superhero, which I really, really like. Yeah, but it is a very dark philosophy.
Jesus, and no one's suggesting any of that
stuff. Yeah, it's a dark... But I like dark philosophies. I really love them.
I know. Let's just because it's such a big topic. All right. Now, Epstein...
I always figured that the clown priest would do something like that.
Who's that, Epstein?
No, just someone I've been working on for many years, ever since the Joyride years. But the clown priest is... I don't even know what else to say about him. Yeah, anyway, continue. Cut you off with retardation.
So let's say Epstein died in jail, which we don't believe is possible.
Because they don't die.
Yeah, well, maybe. Well, I mean, we can even say that too. If you're in this group, I mean, isn't there like every president is on repeat? If you look at their fucking facial structure.
Yeah,
Speaking of
the
facial structure,
and Biden and all that.
Let's look at Epstein. It looks like earlobes don't look the same. Noses look a little bit fucked.
Why didn't they take a picture of his cock?
They should have. It would have been the best direct indication.
Wouldn't his alleged egg-shaped cock be an indicator of his carcass?
And even, I'm sure plenty of people, unfortunately, could even say that's not Epstein. I remember what his dick looked like.
Yeah. No, this is all allegedly coming from a guy with an egg cock?
No, I've never heard that. I don't know what you mean.
What the fuck is this? What is this? Angel's egg? What is this? Obsession with a sort of an egg-shaped world?
Fuck, I don't know.
I don't know what the messaging means. I have no idea.
So
it's a Mithras. It's the Orphic egg. Anyway, there's no sense going into that.
Yeah. So I mean, let's say the guy doesn't die. I don't know. I don't know. This maybe not. That's not his body. I don't know. This is just what people say. So he didn't die in jail. He ends up where on his island that he loved more than anything.
Remember the picture on Google Maps of him like looking up at it after his death? You remember that one?
I don't. He was
right next to a lawnmower or something like that. It was really good.
He was looking up.
Yeah, he was looking up at the picture. Like it was funny.
He knows it's there.
I'm looking at him, just chuckling.
So, what else can we say about Epstein?
We can
talk about artwork in a sec.
The artwork is funny stuff. But in terms of a big picture, when it comes to Epstein, because I'm not the master of conspiracies or the master of forbidden knowledge. I really try not to be, but as long as we're on the subject in this fashion, but there's no conclusion to what I'm saying, and there's no.
Well, I'll bring you into it.
It's just more conspiracy.
I'll bring you into it because I know what you're talking about. I was saying, where did he start? First off, we'll just say this quick. Who gives a shit about the names? But more or less, he was assigned to being a teacher when he didn't have credentials.
Yeah, he's like an MIT lecturer or something like that.
So yeah, he bounces from some like Manhattan school, maybe MIT.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah.
Either way, he gets into a position where he's probably talking to younger kids. Who cares? But he is in a position to...
He's influencing Ivy League students.
Yes. Exactly.
I really like that.
Exactly what we're always saying.
Yeah, I really like
how
that.
do you get to the heart of the matter?
He's in charge of... He gets to practice brainwashing Ivy League influencers.
With 0 credentials.
Yep. He comes in, he's got an afro.
And he's like this. You guys like massage tables?
You guys like egg-shaped cocks?
Yeah,